Welcome to the Share Your Stories quarterly networking event, where we discuss a topic trending in business and share practical tools for small business owners. Our speaker is Tricia Ryan with Food Biz Mentoring, and our topic is AI Made Simple, practical tools to grow your small business. As a brand champion and trend expert, Tricia Ryan has 30 plus years of progressive experience in marketing and communications, with a focus on the food and beverage industry. With a unique blend of creativity and innovation, she uncovers opportunities to promote products while connecting with a niche target audience. Tricia has been presenting on AI at conferences across Canada and joins us today to share a few tips on how we may begin to use this tool in our own business. Love it or hate it, AI is getting a lot of buzz, and I'm certainly looking forward to hearing more. It is my pleasure to welcome Tricia Ryan.
Hello, everyone. I guess it's good afternoon rather than good morning since we're all on the call. And thank you for taking the time. Although I'm talking food biz mentoring, which is the focus of my business, I work in the packaged goods space, but I'm working predominantly in food and beverage, and I work with entrepreneurs, taking them from concept to commercialization. A few years ago, when I was introduced to AI, it was really in the application for people in the advertising business. And there's going to be a bit of a shift around that right now because Meta's kind of taking over in this space, particularly in the graphic area. And there will be opportunities, I think, with Meta where agencies and everyone who have a lot invested in creative and developing it and original photography, et cetera, a lot of that may change. So really today, just a brief introduction to AI and its uses. And one way to just demonstrate it was I went to ChatGPT. And in this particular case, I said, I'm doing a presentation to food entrepreneurs. This is when I'm talking to Food and Beverage Ontario or Atlantic or out in Alberta. I want to do some exercises so it's interactive with the people I'm going to be speaking to. And I want to demonstrate to my audience how they can understand their target audience better and maybe get some clarity on positioning and features and benefits of their brand. And so could you help me and write a good summary for this session, maybe a possible headline? Now, the important thing about many of the AI tools, the more you give the tool information and you say, please be my writer, please be my art director, please be my legal assistant, the better the response is going to be. So there are a lot of classes or courses that always say, I'm going to teach you how to talk or interact with ChatGPT or Claude, etc. But I just wanted you to see, I gave this information to ChatGPT, and this was the answer. And so, it says crafting your culinary brand, strategies for targeting, positioning, and value proposition. Now, the fun part is, in a million years, I would not be writing this way. Even though I am a content creator, I'm not an art director, but I'm the person around the strategy that gets built, etc. Now, one of the things, ChatGPT, free version is where I started. And I did ask the people that I talked to, which version are you using? The AI is a search engine, just like the way we used to Google it. And the difference is you're not seeing paid advertising and you don't have to do deep delving in to find the answer on page 2 of Google. When you go to ChatGPT, you can get your answer. What are the top 5 restaurants in Toronto, Niagara, whatever? It'll spit it out without all of the other confusing stuff you might want to sort through. Doesn't mean it's perfect, and you do have to check your answers. But I'll go back to this. So I asked ChatGPT, can you write the description so I can give it to the people in the association and they can put it in their advertising materials? The fun part was that then I said, let's go to Claude, another one. And what I want you to understand is Claude is known for being good for copywriting. So it gave me same presentation, same question asked. I got a completely different result. But what I did then is said, what's the difference between the two? And one of you might prefer the version from ChatGPT, and another might like the version from Claude. What I do like about Claude is when you do put in your question, it will ask you if you want a long-winded answer or a short one, or do you want it in bullets? So I like that there's a little bit of extra. And what I want to say about both tools, You do not have to be a brain surgeon. You don't have to understand anything about coding. You just go in just like you do Google. But if you looked at the two side by side, the second one uses more engaging language and food-related metaphors. Now, these were food business people. Maybe they would have thought it was cheesy, so I could take recipes for success out. It also broke down the content into clear, digestible bullet points. And for marketers, we don't like to read long copy. We just want to see the quick stuff. It emphasized the practical and actionable nature of the workshop, and it had added a touch of culinary themed language to reinforce the focus. And then I could send both versions to my clients and say, whichever one you want to use, feel free to use. And I could take the best of the two of them and write my own. It gives you the starting point. And that's what I love about it. Claude is roughly the same price as ChatGPT on a monthly subscription. Now, try to keep this focus, and I will explain all the different ways you can use this. But if you think of marketing, usually you start somewhere with strategy, but most brand people start with, they build their website, they get their logo, they figure out a name, they, have a package for their product. They do all the stuff all over this total strategic outline. What I want to emphasize is that through these tools, you might already have your business card and your name, but you can use it to bump into everything else. And these tools can help you with a consistent voice. So with my subscription, every time I open the tool, it's like, hi, Tricia, and it knows my voice. And it knows the way I like to write things. What I want you to understand is these tools can be very helpful in all sorts of things. And you can use AI in very creative ways. So the tools that I tend to use a lot more frequently, and the reason I put this up is I want to say to you, Grammarly is an AI tool, just the same as when you have Microsoft Office and it spell checks for you. So I've been using Grammarly for 100 years. So guess what? I'm using AI whether I knew it or not. Canva has a total AI component to it, but you can go into any word when you're particularly doing things for blogging and podcasting, etc. And it will actually give you a score out of 100. And then it says, would you like us to fix it? And then it will give you keyword-rich inputs, keeping the content looking the same and improving upon it and giving you ratings and scores. The other thing that I use is a video tool. One is in video. There are many of them. And how I use this tool for me servicing clients is when I write a strategic brief for someone. And so I had an olive oil company in Greece, and they wanted to know how they could come into Canada and launch an olive oil. So I reviewed all the olive oils and the pricing and what's in the stores, what are all the claims, what the packaging looks like. And I wrote a brief saying, here's a market gap. Here's one way that you can talk about olive oil. And I'll share my little secret. So apparently you don't water olive oil trees, the trees in Europe. The way that they get moisture is every morning the dew is taken into the earth. And so I developed a brand all called Terra Dew, all around olive oil and Terra Dew. And it's a story and it would be memorable for people. But what I did is I wrote the whole brief, which is like, 20, 30 pages long, but I wrote the creative brief, I stuck it into InVideo, and within 6 or 8 minutes, it made me a whole 2-minute commercial. And I'm able to send a commercial to my client along with my 30, 40 pages of market research and a brief, but they get to see it actualized. But it's just showing that you can translate, because if you think of millennials and Gen X, they're video driven. By making it in a video format, it brings it to life. The other thing about some of these AI tools, even if you look at the packaging in Terra Dew, I can say, make it in earth colors. Now make it in dominant red, white, and blue. And it will spit out your package in different versions with all the same copy points or the same logos. And you get to say, that's a little closer to what I like or what I want to see. So AI can be really great in these kinds of functions. And then I'm just going to do a quick ChatGPT thing. So here we are. And so you can type in there, can you act as my copy writer and develop a blog post on why people should use a coach for their small business. And then I thought, well, give it a bit more detail. Perhaps focus, and sorry for the typing, on why, where, when, and how. And then and even with typos, absolutely, I will draft a post. How every small business needs a coach. The what, why, when, and how. So what you're able to do with this, you can go back and then ask other things. Now, when I go to Claude and Perplexity, which is another tool that I use, what I find is they actually have prompts at the end of the answer saying, would you like to know about pricing? Would you like to know if there's some in Ontario? So there are some neat other resources where you go, oh, that's a question I didn't think about asking. So it can be very helpful. So if you look at in any of the tools, Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, you can use it for blog posts. You can look at for LinkedIn posts. It'll even do all your little icons, and it knows how to format and how many words, etc. Perplexity, I love for market research. I have a paid version, which is even better than the free version. You can use it for strategic planning. As I said, that total part of mess that is part of being a small business owner. I've taken proposals and stuck it in and said, have I missed something when I'm doing a proposal for a client? So the applications, spelling and grammar, I told you already that that's part of the process. Content creation, it can organize you. There are tools. It can help you with planning, strategic planning, video creation. So on Instagram and on Facebook, there are all sorts of little things like this that say, okay, you use Copy AI to write ad copy. You can use Jasper with engaging blog posts and ads. You can use Descript to edit audios. You can use Ideogram. There are hundreds of AI tools. And the thing is to just go in and play. So in summary, AI tools are here to support you. There are many free and inexpensive versions. Understand when they're pulling data, and that scrapes the information on the internet for the general use of what we are doing. I can't say enough about how much time this saves me. And even the fact that when we're doing the Zoom meeting, that an AI report is taking all the notes about what Tricia is saying, and Tricia and I can read it and edit it out and send it off to you without having to have someone be a note taker. There are lots of different ways you can use it to help you.
In closing, wow, thank you, Tricia. I mean, you've given us so much to think about. And on behalf of the Share Your Stories community, I'd like to thank you for sharing your expertise on AI. And Tricia's contact information will be in the description portion below. Thank you so much for sharing your thought leadership on AI for small business.
Thank you. It was great. It was fun.